Welcome back to another episode of Brass and Beer. Today we are reviewing the Star Model CO, and basically this is a little 6.35 caliber or 25 auto. Let's take it right into the spec. We'll start with the length. It's 4.72 inches. Width is 0.76 inches, so 3/4 of an inch. The height is 3.5 inches, and the total weight is just under 1 pound. It's 0.95 pounds. It does come with an 8-round mag. So first things first is a little history on this gun. So the Model CO was actually manufactured between 1929 and 1956. And that was again for the CO. I have a few other dates, so it seems like it was a bunch of different websites are pretty unclear on it. So another website said 41 to 57, and then another website said 30 to 37. And I think no matter what, I'm kind of shocked that this little firearm is that old. I mean, for how it works and stuff, it's really not that bad. It doesn't feel that old to me. 6.35 or the 25 auto is really similar, I would say, in my book, to like a 22. I would say this gun has really similar recoil and stuff to a 22. Obviously 22 is rimfire. The 25 is a center fire and a little bit heavier round, a little bit larger diameter there. So the Star CO, this website that I found called unblinkingeye.com, that gave me the specs on this particular little firearm. They also like to compare it to the Baby Browning and the Walther Model 9. So if you guys are familiar with those, you can kind of get an idea. They're pretty similar in size. The one big thing is the Star is really heavy. So before we get into that though, I do want to talk about ammo. So ammo for this little guy is pretty difficult to find. And when you do find it, you are going to pay a pretty heavy price on it. So price for 25 rounds was $18. So 50 rounds, yeah, I paid like just under 40 bucks, $35, $40 for 50 rounds, which is expensive ammo. I feel like, you know, it's premium side for sure. With touching on that, if I was saying if you're buying your first handgun, you saw this in a pawn shop for less than 100 bucks, because that's usually what you can pick them up for, I wouldn't recommend getting it. I'd recommend saving up those bills and getting something a little bit more expensive. And the reason for is because of ammo. I mean, your first time out shooting, you're gonna probably spend the same amount in ammo as you did on the firearm itself. So that's kind of hard for me to justify, I guess. But hey, if you already have an arsenal and you're looking for something cheap to pick up, and this comes across like it did for me at this auction. At the auction, I did think it was a 32 auto, so that didn't really help me out at all. But you know what, I think I paid 70 or 80 bucks out the door, and that's not a bad price for it at all. So next thing we'll get into on it is my personal opinion on it. So as far as the trigger goes, I'm not a big fan of it. It's very heavy, it's sloppy, it's all over the place, but for an older gun, I wouldn't really imagine anything less. The sights, nothing fancy. 2-post rear, single post up front. There's no paint or dots or anything like that on my particular handgun. They can be a little bit difficult to put on, especially when you start getting farther out. So I took it out to 25 yards, I believe, and I couldn't really hit much with it. So they are not adjustable in any way, shape, or form. So what you get out of the box is what you get. And then the safety on mine, the safety does not work on mine, which is kind of bad, I thought. You know, I mean, it's always nice to have a safety on some guns, just depending on what you're using it for, I guess. But the safety on this one did not work, so maybe we'll open it up and find out if we can figure out what's wrong with it. So a couple other things. The actual feel of it, you're gonna see 2 fingers below the trigger and your pinky will go underneath the mag. Hammer feels good. It clicks back. It's like a 2 position. It feels really good though. Like I said, very little recoil. I would say it fits in the hands pretty well, even if you got bigger hands like me or smaller hands like my wife. The weight of it, unloaded, 1 pound. That's pretty heavy for such a small firearm. Of course, it is made out of all steel, so that's why it's going to be so heavy, but pretty heavy. So if you are looking at carrying this, keep that in mind, because you definitely will notice it, especially loaded. So other than that, I'd probably give it a like 5.5, 6 maybe out of 10. So like I said, if it's your first gun, wouldn't recommend it just because of ammo cost. If it's something just to add to the safe, and it's, you know, pretty cheap. So like I said, 70 or 80 bucks I think is what you can usually pick them up for. They do come with an engraved model that I think is very neat looking, and that's called the Model COE, and it's just the E stands for engraved. and it's like chrome stuff. So if you find one of those, I think they run a little bit more, but I think those are pretty cool looking. So thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Give this video a thumbs up if you like the content. Comment down below if you have any questions or any other input for me on this little guy. And other than that, I think this video hopefully earned your subscription. And hey, if it didn't, go check out some of my other videos. I think you'll like them. Alright everyone, thanks for watching.